Okay, all right. We are live right now for Insert Learning Teacher Chat. And there's a little bit of a delay because for me, our internet died briefly.
Okay,
Karen,
all
I don't
right,
know what it
we
was like for
are
you
live
with the snow right now. But it's like in the nick of time, it's back. All right, so we got a lot of new users. And so I was kind of thinking we can have something for that. I like how my hair is really messy right now because I just took my hat off from shoveling outside. So for tonight's teacher hangout, our goal is that we're going to just kind of show off like how insert learning works for some of the new users, and then for Karen and I to kind of talk about how we're using it in our classrooms, because I teach high school science. Karen, you teach middle school English. You've taught high school English. You've taught like everything. And then also then kind of show off the new public library, which has been really exciting because a lot of people have been adding things to it now. And it's been fun to see what people have been using as their sources for insert learning, because that's a really big part of it too. So I think to start off with, Karen, I don't know, yeah, like what if I haven't talked to you for a long time. So what have you been teaching? And how have you been using insert learning with your students, with your crazy, is it 6th grade you've got right now? I can't hear you at all though, Karen. Uh-oh. Nothing. No. Nothing. Because I've got, let's see. All right, Karen's gonna come back. Well, I guess for me, so this last semester I taught game design and intro to making. So we did a lot of digital fabrication. So it's been a lot more on the focus on the STEM side of things. And for my intro to making class, for our final project, and I'm gonna bring up my lesson for it. Our final lesson was making an interactive light. And so kids so we used like code.org's app lab thing and the maker toolkit, so they could use these like Adafruit circuit playgrounds, these like circuit boards with LEDs on them. And so students had to make a light that seemed like it was kind of alive or had a personality to it. And then I think I shared it. All right, so I'm going to share my screen right now to show off my lesson. Oops. Let's see. Share my screen. I'll just do my entire screen. There we go. Let's do that. Okay. All right. So I ended up then doing. All right. So let's see. I think I've shared it over the public library. So I'll go find that. But we kind of had a discussion about robotics and this idea of now creating these artificial intelligence and creating things that interact with people, and this issue called the uncanny valley. And where the heck is it here? Oh, I should just search. Why am I scrolling through? There we go. The uncanny valley. So it was on website theconversation.com. So I'm going to open this up. And so really this is like our little preview here of how the public library works, but I'm using a different account right now to find this. And so it tells you who created the lesson. If you click on this, it takes you to, or no, this shows you the share history, which is kind of a cool thing. So actually, if somebody else copies the lesson and then they make some changes and they share it again, it's got the whole like version history of or the life of that lesson. So it's kind of cool. But I'm gonna go back to this. And so what I did for this one, so basically it was like why we find human-like robots and dolls so creepy. And so I thought that was kind of a fun thing to like a way of mixing this in of like, as we're trying to create more electronics that are like people and like interacting things, or they've got more human characteristics, you kind of run into this problem of like things being really creepy at a certain point until it gets really good. And so we talked about that. So even though this had nothing to do with, I mean, it is related to what we were learning about, I want it to kind of be, you know, a reading article dealing with that, but in a slightly different way. Because there wasn't like any kind of like articles that had exactly to do with what we were creating, these interactive lights. So I wanted this thing. So I kind of broke this up with some questions. I gave my students instructions of what I wanted them to highlight it, because it was kind of a complex article. And then I had 2 questions down here at the end, or a discussion, and then a question right there. And then let's see here. Karen, is that you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right.
Sorry, guys. I got it. I went full in Google. I got a Google phone. Figured out how to do it with the wireless. You can hear me yet?
So I was just showing off my lesson that I did most recently with my engineering students about the uncanny valley and about how then I shared it out to the public library.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Cool.
what about
Yeah.
you?
So with middle schoolers, a lot of the time, one of the really big standards for language arts is that they're able to kind of pick apart, I guess would be the layman's term, what they're reading. And so, what I've been using insert learning for a lot, assigning them articles that are super relevant to what's going on right now, and not even putting any questions or anything in there, and just completely allowing, except for like a sticky note at the top with directions, and then allowing them to go through and annotate stuff. So students like that because it's a lot of freedom. I'm always making sure it's articles that are relevant to them, and it's a way for them to kind of just practice what we're doing. Like we had a main idea and details thing, and so I made, main idea is this color, detail they went through and they annotated.
Would you be able to show off your lesson that you made? Oh no,
We
you're on your phone right now. Never mind. Have you shared that out to the public library?
I did, like, if you look for one called Squid Skin, maybe that one might be in there. That one I did put a bunch of questions in because that was kind of like our first time going through. It was an NPR article.
Was that the one that was on like KQED or no?
Yeah, yeah, I think.
Oh, here I should share my screen. Um, let's see. Share my screen. All right. Okay, so it's in the public library and squid. All right, here we go. So
Yeah,
you're not
that one.
hallucinating. It's just squid skin.
Yeah, this one I put stuff in kind of like because they were practicing and details as well as nonfiction text features, which are both really big standards. And so, this is the deal. Like a lot of the things that textbooks put out are textbook looky. You know what I mean? But the thing is, our students when they get jobs, they're not going to be looking at textbooks. They're going to be out there and they need to know how to analyze the news media. They need to know analyze eight. So I really like this article because it has lots of pictures. It has gifs or gifs if you want to put in it, and I was able to insert questions and just some guiding stuff where they having directions for them to annotate, I think, is in this one too.
I like that. I was looking at the questions that you have, and I like you've kind of integrated the graphics. So this one of the look at the above graphic and the caption.
Yeah.
You learn by looking at that. And then I saw another one up here too I've never done this before, but so you've got read the first paragraph, then skim through the whole article, making sure to look at any graphics and headings and subheadings and predict what the article will be about. I have not done any of those kind of like reading strategies, and I gotta add that in. We should add this to the what you call it, the
oh yeah,
question
yeah,
templates.
because that's a really big reading strategy where you want kids to be able to predict what they're going to read and show them that they can go into something knowing what they're going to be reading. They just have to skim the thing and look at the pictures and stuff
Right. I like
and the
that.
headings.
Can I get to that? Okay, I can. So for those of you that are watching, the question templates, and really kind of our annotation templates as well. It's something that we're testing out, but if you click on the little life ring here, the help and support, this brings you to our embedded help center. And if you click on lesson templates, we've got two things right now. We've got text-dependent questions and then annotation instructions for students. And I think I'm going to add this one in there because then
Yeah,
these
I think
are
that
the
would be a good
questions
one
where
to
you can
add.
copy and paste that question into your article. But I like that of like, this is a real simple one to, I mean, that's going to, yeah, that works with anything pretty much.
And what's super,
Any kind of
yeah,
article.
and what's super great, I think, about clicking on that life ring and then getting the question help there is if you're teaching any sort of subject, right? Any sort of content area, or more, I would say like fourth grade plus maybe. You can spend hardly any time, I would say, making a lesson, right? You find an article, questions in there, click assign, and boom, boom, you're done, right? You didn't even have to write any questions because the way we worded those questions is they could literally work on. So they're all CCS standards aligned.
I like it.
Yes.
I'm going to jump over to see if I'm trying to look at the question people have been posting on the YouTube live. So John Bullock just adding in. I think our ELA team would like the reading strategies. Great idea. Awesome. Thank you, John. And yeah, that's pretty much all Karen. All right. So there's two other things, right? Because we only got like 7 minutes left. We're gonna keep it at like 6 minutes or about 20 minutes. So the
public. Oh, you already showed the public
yeah.
library.
So we show the public library a little bit. Karen, are you familiar? I forget. We've talked about the MOLCs, right?
What?
We've talked about the MOLCs, haven't we?
Oh, that you and Corey did?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that.
All right. I think I'm gonna have a kid here joining me in like 2 seconds. Okay. Well, so the MOLCs. So there's two things. So I'm gonna share my screen again. All right, so I'm gonna share that. And I'm gonna head over.
Yeah, so I think the idea that you guys came up with, right? Because you do have that option to share lessons with other teachers where you can all collaborate on time. It's like an endless picture of me.
Right. Yeah. And now my kids.
Hi. Hi.
All right. Okay, right. We're doing a video chat right now with Karen.
Hi.
Okay, here we're gonna listen.
Hi, goodbye.
All right. So I'm gonna go real quick simply for the library. So the library, like, we're soft launching this because there's a lot of things that we kind of want to add in.
Hi.
Well, yeah, or you can say hi again in a little bit. Because I mean, there's a lot of lessons. What I love about this is that majority of these lessons have been shared by people before they even knew where they were going to go. And so I think that's great. And so, but one of the things though is that with most of these lessons, hold on, right? First, we'll do this, and second, then you can talk to Karen. Okay. So one of the things that we need to do here is kind of like tag these. And hey Karen, I'm gonna let you take over real quick. And then would you kind of talk about, I'm going to leave this on there, but yeah, kind of talk about like for the, like.
Yeah. So one of the cool things, cool ladies that, and when you are creating a lesson on Matt, when you are creating a lesson, you can share it with a co-teacher, have the ability to edit. Matt and Corey Graham came up with the idea of just hopping on an article and creating a lesson at the same content, and they shared the library. And so when Matt gets back and he can manipulate his screen a little more, he can show you that. But just to talk a little bit more about the library. Oh, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back right now.
Okay. So I just
Okay,
talked a
yeah.
little bit about how you and Corey came up with the idea and what it was, but I obviously couldn't show them anything.
Yeah, so Corey and I, we were kind of talking about like ways of like how do I make the lesson creation thing more fun? Because right, I mean, one of the things that's like creating lessons is fun. Like it's like as a teacher,
Yeah.
like we really kind of geek out about it. So like, it's like, right, like if I get handed a worksheet, even if it's a great worksheet, I'm be like, yeah, but it could be better. Even if it's just the formatting, I'm going to be like, well, my students do better when we have something like this, or I need to have it more broke. It's like, right, like all of our students are very different. So, and that's like, like, so as teachers, we kind of do that. And so that's one of the things and so we're kind of talking about those, like, right, like as teachers, we like creating things. And I think that should be something that can be more social and, being able to collaborate with other teachers. And so the idea that Corey had was, well, what about like teachers like getting together and like creating lessons together at the same time? Because in classes, what you can do is you can add a co-teacher. So I actually have the one set up right here as like as an invitation. So with any class, you click on teachers and then you can invite somebody to be the co-teacher in that class. And once you're a co-teacher, any lesson that's been assigned to that class, all of you can edit it in real time. So the whole idea for these MOLCs, and it stands for Massive Multi-Teacher Online Lesson Creation. And then here's our first one right here. So we actually created a class just called MOLC. And then this is the one that we created. And it was Valerie. Yeah, Valerie and I, we did the first MOLC. So I can put that on here. It's like, so this lesson was created by Valerie and myself. And we're just gonna put some information here about it.
Yeah.
And because I think Valerie was doing something on the Civil War.
Yeah. And what's cool about this, right, is like see to copy lessons, right? Like you can create this in this other class, and then you could assign, in essence, even if you still don't like what you created with other people, you could make a copy and then, change it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can share it out. And so what I'm kind of envisioning would be something like, let's, maybe you get like a bunch of like English teachers together, right? And you don't have to be all in the same spot and be like, all right, we're going to do Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. And you could then like organize. And so what we did is we did a video, Google Hangout, so that Valerie and I could then kind of talk. And then we started editing the lessons. First, we kind of set like what we want to do was you could get like 10 English teachers together and be like, okay, we're going to do Romeo and Juliet chapters 1 through 4, or like for the next 15 minutes. And Karen, you're in charge of like annotation instructions and highlighting key terms. And, Bill, you're in charge of
really quickly. It would go really quickly. Like if you have PD, curriculum development days, that would go really, really fast, I think. And even if you don't want to do this MOLC thing, right, that Matt's talking about, you can share lessons so easily